Good day, viewers. Thank you for being here. This video is the second video on the paper 2 of the 2025 WAEC SSCE English language. This video is all about how to approach and write formal letters. In the first video, we focused on informal letters and we discussed extensively the grading system that WAEC uses. I remember we made it known that this section, paper 2, has 50 marks, has the total of 50 marks, and that is why it is necessary to write your letter or essay well, because it has the highest mark. We explained the grading system. The same grading system is used for all the essays and letters. Do well to check that video out so you can have deep understanding of how your letter or essay will be marked. I will now leave the link to the video at the top right corner of this video, or you check the description of this video and scroll down to the bottom. You will find the video there. Let's quickly begin the solution to the question today. So the question on the formal letter says, your municipality council intends to ban the use of plastic bags in your community. Write a letter to the chairperson of the council discussing 3 reasons why the ban is necessary. This is the question, and of course, simply because we are writing to the chairperson of our council, it is going to be a formal letter. Formal letters have rigid rules that must be followed in order to get your maximum marks. Let's look at some of the characteristics of formal letter. Number 1, the tone must be formal. That is, the choice of word, the use of language must be formal. The language must be serious, respectful, and professional. Slangs, casual language are not meant to be used. Do not use slangs, do not use casual languages. 2, clear purpose. The purpose of writing the letter must be clear. It must be written for a specific reason, or let's say purpose, and that reason is going to be mentioned in the question. Like in this case, we are writing the letter to the chairperson of our council in order to explain, to tell him why banning the use of plastic bag is necessary. So there must be a clear purpose for writing a formal letter. Another characteristic of a formal letter is proper structure and proper arrangement. After this, I'm going to list the guide, the steps we are going to follow while writing a formal letter. The next one is the use of polite expressions. The use of polite expressions. So the language must be polite, must be respectful. The use of sir, madam, then yours faithfully. All this must be put in place because they show politeness. And please remember this. When you are writing to a female recipient, do not use dear ma. Do not use the word ma. Use the word madam. This is because ma means mother, so do not use it. Use madam instead. These are the basic characteristics of formal letters. We must bear this in mind while we are writing our letter. Having said all of this, let's go to the guide, to the step to follow in a formal letter. Number 1, the first thing you are going to write is the writer's address and date, just like that of an informal letter. And remember, the writer's address and date is going to be at the top right corner of your booklet. The second thing you are going to write immediately after the writer's address is the recipient address. The recipient address. That one is going to stay on the left side of your paper. And take note, the recipient address begins with the office of the person you are writing to. If you are writing to the chairman, you are going to say the chairman. If you are writing to the manager, you are going to say the manager. If you are writing to, let's say, a principal of a secondary school, you are going to say the principal. So the recipient address begins with the office of the person you are writing to. The third thing you are going to write after the recipient address is the salutation. Remember to always leave a line, a space, a free line between your recipient address and the salutation. This is because both of them are on the left side. If you do not leave a space between your recipient address and your salutation, there will be no distinction, there will be no difference between the two. So that space is to separate your recipient address from your salutation. The salutation is usually dear sir or dear madam, except in some few cases you can have some other salutations. Maybe you are writing to a king or to a governor, where you are going to have your excellency or your royal highness. Apart from this, it is going to be dear sir or dear madam. That is the salutation. After the salutation is the title of the letter. Take note, when we were discussing informal letter, there was no title. But for the formal letter, there is a title. So there is a way we write the title. I'm going to explain in the course of this video. After the title of the letter, then we come to the body of the letter. The body of the letter is, combination of paragraphs. That is where we write the information. That's where we put the purpose of writing the letter into writing. So we have paragraph 1. Now, when we were discussing informal letter, paragraph 1 was about greetings and exchange of pleasantries. But for a formal letter, there is usually no greetings. There are usually no exchange of pleasantries. So do not greet. Just begin with the purpose of your letter. So paragraph 1 for a formal letter, begin directly, state the purpose of writing the letter. So paragraph 2, you raise points to support the reason for writing the letter. The same thing happens in paragraph 3. You discuss points, discuss more on the reason, for writing the letter. The same thing happens in paragraph 4, depending on how long your letter is going to be. Anyways, the last paragraph, whether it is the 5th paragraph or the 6th paragraph or the 7th paragraph, the last paragraph will always be the conclusion. Now, after the body of the letter, after the last paragraph, the next thing that will follow is the complimentary clause. Then after the complimentary clause comes your signature. Informal letter does not have signature, but for a formal letter, it is very important you append your signature. Then after your signature, write your full name. When I say your full name, I mean your name and your surname. You can even add an initial. So this is the guide. These are the steps to follow when you are writing a formal letter. Let's go back to our question and show an example of a formal letter. The question again says, your municipality council intends to ban the use of plastic bags in your community. Write a letter to the chairperson of the council discussing 3 reasons why the ban is necessary. Okay, so as we have discussed in the steps to follow, the first thing is the writer's address and date. Now look at my own address. It is on the right side of the booklet, and I used the same address, the one I used in the previous video, the one I used in the informal letter, the video on informal letter. I just changed the date. 12 Ben Adeyemi Street, Alimosho Local Government Area, Alagbado, Lagos. 16th March 2026. So this address is appropriate for both formal and informal letter. And please, still on the writer's address, take note of the punctuations, take note of the commas and the full stops. Now let's come to number 2. The second thing we are going to write is the recipient address. The question says, write a letter to the chairperson. So in this case, we say the chairman. So that is the chairperson. The chairman, your address must begin with the office of your recipient. The chairman, then followed by where the person works. Alimosho Local Government Council. Then the place where the council is, Alimosho. Now you can see that after Alimosho, I just put a full stop. I didn't put the state where Alimosho is. And that is because it is the same state I have in my writer's address. So if the state in the writer's address is the same state of the recipient address, you do not need to repeat it. However, if they are different states, then you can put the state in your recipient address. But if it is within the same state, you do not need to put that state again in the recipient address. After that, then we go to the salutation. So in this case, we have dear sir. Dear sir. After the salutation, we move to the title of the letter. When we're discussing informal letter, there was no title. But as far as a formal letter is concerned, there must be title. The title is just a brief statement stating the purpose of writing the letter. The title can be written in two ways. You can write it in uppercase, in which all the letters will be capital. Look at what I have here. Support for the ban of plastic bags and the reasons for its necessity. Because the question says that we should state the reason why the ban is necessary. Support for the ban of plastic bags and reasons for its necessity. And the first example, the first title is in uppercase. So you can write everything in capital letter, which we call uppercase. Or you can write it in another way. The second way to write it is what we call the title case. The title case. This one we don't call it small letter because it is actually different from small letters. We call it title case. In title case, you capitalize the first letter of each lexical item, of each lexical word. You might not capitalize the first letter of grammatical words like prepositions and articles, conjunctions. But words like nouns, pronouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs, these ones are lexical items. You capitalize the first letter. But I want to say this. Some of us cannot differentiate between lexical words and grammatical words. If you cannot differentiate between these two, you can capitalize the first letter of each word. It is still acceptable. Or you just stick to the first one, whereby you write everything in capital letter. Now let's come to this one, to the title case. Since I do not write everything in capital letter, then I must underline it. I must underline the title case. So if you are using the title case, in which all the words are not in capital letters, you must underline it. Please do not forget this. Do not forget this. But if you write it in uppercase, where all of the letters are capital, you do not need to underline. Take note of this. The second thing about the title is that try as much as possible to centralize your title. Try as much as possible to put it in the middle of your answer booklet. Okay, now that we are done with the title of the letter, let's go to the body of the letter. The body of the letter is made up of paragraphs, and like I've said earlier, in a formal letter, there is usually no greeting. You don't greet, you don't exchange pleasantries. It means in your first paragraph, you go straight to the purpose of writing the letter. Let's see our first paragraph here. I am writing to express my support for the proposed ban on the use of plastic bags in our community. As a concerned citizen, I believe this decision is necessary for the good of our environment and community. Straight to the point. No greetings, no exchange of pleasantries. This is a typical example of the first paragraph of a formal letter. Okay, let's continue. Do not forget, the question says that we should give 3 reasons why the ban is necessary. So in the second paragraph, we state our first reason. This is the second paragraph. Firstly, the ban of plastic bags is necessary because they are the major contributor to pollution in our community. We see them litter the streets and block the gutters. When not disposed properly, they can end up in our rivers and can harm the fish and other aquatic animals. We can significantly reduce the amount of plastic waste in our environment by banning plastic bags. Let's move to the third paragraph, where we'll be talking about the second reason why banning of plastic bags is necessary. Secondly, plastic bags do not rot, which means that they take hundreds of years before they decompose. This leads to a buildup of plastic waste in the soil and environment. You will agree with me, sir, that by switching to reusable bags, we can reduce the amount of plastic waste and promote a cleaner environment. This is our second reason. Let's move to the third. Thirdly, the use of plastic bags seriously endangers our earth. When plastic bags are burned, they release toxic chemicals into the air, which can cause respiratory problems and other health issues. If we ban plastic bags, we will reduce the risk of these health problems and create a healthier community. Now we have our 3 reasons that we were told to state in the question. So we have other paragraphs which are just built up to the conclusion of the letter. We are writing about 450 words, so at least we must make sure we write up to that number, if not exactly, but very close to the number. Moreover, there are many alternatives to plastic bags that are not dangerous and are affordable. Reusable bags made of cloth, jute, and paper bags can be used multiple times. This will reduce the need for plastic bags. Many shops and markets are already adopting these alternatives, and it is time our community did the same. Then to the last paragraph, to the conclusion. I understand that some people may argue that banning plastic bags will cause inconvenience, but I believe the benefit far outweighs the costs. If the council gives proper and adequate sensitization to the people, I believe that they will understand and we can make this transition in order to create a cleaner and healthier community. I urge the council to implement the ban on plastic bags and promote the use of other alternatives. We can make a difference, and it is our responsibility to protect our environment for future generations. This is the conclusion. Then the last paragraph is just to appreciate the person. Thank you, sir, for considering my views. That short sentence is enough for the last paragraph. You can see, thank you, sir. Look at the word sir. It is very important in order to show respect. We said it at the beginning that the language of formal letter shows what? Respect. Then let's come to the complementary clause. Here we have yours faithfully. Yours faithfully is good for formal letters. As far as informal letter is concerned, yours sincerely is fine. But for a formal letter, stick to yours faithfully. It is acceptable. After your complimentary clause, do not forget to append your signature. It is very necessary to write your signature. In an informal letter, there is usually no signature. But for a formal letter like this, remember to append your signature. After your signature, then your full name. Take note, your full name. This includes your name and your surname. Do not write only your first name or your middle name. Write your name and your surname because this is a formal letter. It is an official letter. If you want to put an initial, it is acceptable. Look at this case, Stanley Michael. Remember, when we wrote informal letter, we wrote only Stanley. We didn't put the surname. But in this case, Stanley is the name and Michael is the surname. The full name is expected when you are closing a formal letter. So, this is a typical example of an acceptable, a WAEC standard, a NECO standard formal letter. If you write your formal letter like this, you are going to get your mark. Except some deductions from your grammatical accuracy and some other thing, you are likely to have close to the full mark, which is a whopping 50 marks. This is going to be the end of this video. I believe you have gained one thing or the other. Thank you for being here. Remember to drop one nice comment on this video, subscribe to the channel, share this video with your classmates. Thank you for always being here. See you some another time. Bye-bye.